It's an amazing morning. We're gonna have such a great time in God today. Uh, you can't even hardly believe it. That's the truth. Why? That's what the word says. It's gonna be better than you expect. It's gonna be a day better than you deserve. And here's why. Here's why I know this. We're going to Ephesians chapter 4. Right in Ephesians chapter 4, right in the middle of it, verse 7, it says, "But to each of us grace was given according to the measure of Christ's gifts. Therefore," it says, "when he ascended on high, he led captive a host of captives, and he gave gifts to men." He gave us a gift of grace. What is grace? That he's not treating us the way that we deserve. He's treating us so much better than we deserve. And that's true for every one of us. We can look at our lives and say, yeah, he's treating me so much better than really I deserve, than really I would expect. He's so good, right? But the funny thing is, that verse is mixed in the middle of a whole section that starts like this. Verse 1, "Therefore, I, the prisoner of the Lord, implore you to walk in a manner worthy of the calling with which you have been called." So why is this passage of talking about each one of us has grace in the middle of this whole chapter that then goes on to detail how we should walk in a manner worthy of the calling which you have been called? Well, if Jesus gave grace, guess what he wants to do through us? Give grace. And we can see that in verse 29. "Let no unwholesome word proceed from your mouth, but only such as is good for edification according to the need, so that it will give grace to those who hear." Are expected, obligated to give grace. How does that happen? By letting no unwholesome word proceed from our mouth, but only such as good for edification or for building up. We should use our words to build up. I remember at one point when Kate and I were newly married, I had a really great job. Really great job that I actually really enjoyed. But when I would come home, I would only talk to Kate about the parts that were tough, about the parts that were hard, about this issue that I ran into. And I didn't often talk about how much I loved it. This really went well. I got acknowledged for this or that. I skipped over those. And it didn't take long for my words to corrupt my wife's view of that workplace. Why? Because I wasn't watching my words. Instead, I was only letting unwholesome words proceed from my mouth about that place I was working at. And what did it do? Did it give grace to those who heard? No. No, she wasn't able to treat that workplace or think about that workplace better than it deserved because of what I said. Instead, she began to say negative things like I was saying negative things. And it wasn't long after that I didn't work there anymore. I had to leave. I didn't get fired, in case you're curious. No, things just changed and I had to make a transition. But that happened because I was letting unwholesome words proceed from my mouth. It's so important that we choose to give grace to everyone around us, just like Jesus did. And you might be thinking, yeah, but this situation's hard, and I gotta talk about how hard it is in order to find a solution. I'm telling you, when you choose to say what's positive, what's building up, and give them more grace than they deserve, just like Jesus is doing with us, then what will happen? It's going to bring edification. That's a building up, and give grace to those who hear. It's going to help them receive better than they expected from you, from your workplace, from your church. We can't just go around talking about the negative, especially as Christians. Oh, do you know what they tried to do? You won't believe what my boss tried to do again today. It just keeps going and going and going. Every time there's something else, we just got to, right? That's normal worldly talk. Why? Because that empowers the enemy. What you talk about, you empower. What you focus on, you empower in your life. And so if you guard your words, you guard your thoughts. Good morning, Mom. And let only words that build up, not words that corrupt, not words that are unwholesome, but words that give grace to build up, then we will see things have God's empowerment, God's grace poured into them. So that just like now you're able to do and to be something that you never could before because of God's grace, you're going to see that happen to those around you, in your workplaces, in your churches, in your families. But you need to guard your words. So I'm telling you, to have an amazing morning, to have an amazing day today, just try it. Guard your words. Guard your thoughts. Only say what will give grace to those who hear. And you're going to see a transformation. You're going to begin seeing your days get more and more amazing. All right, that's it for me. Thanks for joining me today. Have an amazing day, and I'll see you all tomorrow. Bye, everybody.